It's Chris Smith time. Oh, hello, everybody. It's me, Chris Smith. And look, today I'm wearing my Young and the Restless t shirt. Oh, there's Blackie Humphrey over here. Blackie Humphrey, did I ever tell you that I used to be an intern at The Young and the Restless, the hit soap opera, which today, March 26th, 2023, is turning 50 years old. Isn't that amazing? Here's Young and the Restless, the book. You know, I have got out all my Young and the Restless books that I've been looking at because since it's turning 50 and they're doing a big celebration on the show, which you can watch on CBS or you can watch it on Paramount Plus. They stream it there too. They're doing a big celebration for the 50th anniversary, and they're bringing back characters from the past, including Mamie. They're bringing back Leanna Love, even Gina Roma. Remember her? She had that wonderful restaurant, Gina's, that burned down. Oh, devastating. Well, anyway, I've been looking through all my books, and I have a lot of fun Young and the Restless books. Like there's this one, which is the Young and the Restless special silver anniversary collector's edition. And they're chock full of great pictures. What I love about this book is that on the inside, they have caricatures of all the characters that went to that big masquerade ball some years ago. Remember? And isn't that great? And everybody was dressed up in character. So there's that book. There's Young and the Restless, most memorable moments. Christoph St. John, who we still miss, played Neil Winters. And you know, since I worked at CBS Television City after I did the internship, I still saw all these people. And Christoph St. John was one of the ones. He was so nice, and we all still miss him. The ultimate Young and the Restless trivia book. That's always fun. Now, I love the tell-all books. Not tell-all, but you know, the memoirs. There's Jeannie Cooper's book. We love Jeannie Cooper, who played Catherine Chancellor, Mrs. Chancellor. She wrote Not Young, Still Restless. We miss Jeannie Cooper terribly. I talk like I still work there. I don't work at CBS anymore. And I don't work at The Young and the Restless. But I can still celebrate the fact that they are turning 50 years old today. That's amazing. Here's Bill Bell, the co-creator. You know, Bill Bell wrote and created The Young and the Restless with his wife, Lee Phillip Bell. And he wrote this book some years ago. Of course, he's passed on, and so has Lee. Everybody's passed on, and it's devastating. As you get older, kids, more and more people start dying. It's a very strange thing. But yes, he wrote The Young and Restless Life of William J. Bell. You know, one time I was holding the elevator when I became a mailroom. I was delivering the mail, and I had my little mail cart when I worked in the mailroom. And Bill Bell was holding the elevator. And I went, Blackie, you'll love this story. I rolled into the elevator with my cart, and I said, "Oh, thank you." And he said, "I was holding it for him," and pointed to Jerry Byrne, who was his friend and another writer on the show. And I always thought, well, how rude. I'm taking the elevator anyway. That's how people are. Melody Thomas Scott wrote, Always Young and Restless, My Life on and Off America's #1 daytime drama. She plays Nikki, delightful lady. And Eric Braeden wrote, I'll Be Damned. Blackie Humphrey, I've told you the story I know. Oh, and I should mention how my Young and Restless life led to America's #1 daytime drama by Eric Braeden. Who, so I've told this story to you before, but when I was an intern, I was sent to put memos from Nancy Wired, who was the coordinating producer, on all the dressing room mirrors. Now, that was her order. Put all these memos on dressing room mirrors so the actors could see them. And you had to go and knock on the door and listen because studios 41 and 43 at CBS Television City is where they do The Young and the Restless. 41 was like in the morning, and then they would switch in the afternoon to Studio 43. All the sets were set up and everything for the day. And so the hallway was very noisy because there were little carts going by and lots of echoey and noisy. Don't be eating that, Blackie. And you had to knock on the dressing room doors and then listen to hear if anybody says come in. It was very hard to do. And so I knocked and I listened, didn't hear anything, so I went to Eric Braden's dressing room. And I I didn't see him in there. I put the memo up on the dressing room. It wasn't even taped. I think it was like up on the mirror, under one of those little thingies, plastic thingies that holds it up. And then I left. And then the door swings open a few seconds later, and there's Eric Braden, and he's like, "You, intern, don't be putting anything on my dressing room mirror." And I was like, "Oh." And he was like, and I said, "Well, Nancy wanted all," and "I don't care what Nancy wants. Don't be putting anything on my dressing room mirror." And it was terrifying. I always thought he was nicer to the girl interns than to the boy interns. But one time I bought Girl Scout cookies from Melody Thomas Scott. She wasn't a Girl Scout, but probably one of her children were. But I've always loved soap operas, you probably know. And I remember when I was a little child, one of the first books I got was Soap World by Robert LaGuardia, author of Monty. And you know what's crazy? I was looking at it last night, and I realized that The Young and the Restless had only been on like 11 years when this book came out. And it had all the histories of all the soap operas, so of course this only went up to like 84. But look at this cast of Young and the Restless from 1975. And, of course, right there, is Jeannie Cooper as Mrs. Chancellor, and she's with her husband, Philip Chancellor, the one who had the affair with Jill, and then Catherine drove him and her off the cliff in her car, which I always thought was a wonderful thing. I mean, not that I'm encouraging anyone to drive anyone off a cliff, but if your husband is cheating on you with the hairdresser, Jill, then that's a good way to get revenge. And of course, he got killed and Mrs. Chancellor didn't get killed. And yes, originally the show focused on the Brooks family and the Foster family. And then like around 1980, Mr. Bell started bringing in 2 new families, and he brought the Williams family, and he brought the Abbotts with Jack Abbott and John Abbott and Ashley Abbott and everybody like that. So, but yes, I was fascinated that this book, when it came out, and I was obsessed with this book. I mean, it's falling apart now. Parts come out and everything. And, but that the show was still young when I was looking at this book. And now look at the cast. This is the new cast photo. Look how giant it is. And they've always had big cast after the show went to 1 hour, but this is like a large cast. Yes, at CBS Television City, they would have all the cast photos hanging like in the hallway down from the Young and the Restless offices. It's on the same floor as where the Bold and the Beautiful is. The Bold and the Beautiful is at one side of the office, of the floor, and then The Young and the Restless is at the other end. There was always a little bit of a rivalry between the two shows, which I thought was so strange because, you know, they're both from the Bell family. One is a half hour, Bold and the Beautiful. Young and the Restless is the number one show. It's an hour. But both very popular in overseas. And don't be putting anything on my dressing room mirror! I'll never get over it. And I still am friends with a lot of the interns. Well, not a lot, but many, I talk every once in a while to Lori Yokin. Hi, Lori Yokin. And of course, my good friend Scott Smith. We just had dinner the other night, and we talked a lot about The Young and the Restless. We have known each other for 30 years, because when I came to the show in January of 1993, good Lord, I'm old. I was fresh out of college. That was my very last credit to take in college. And so I came out to do the internship at The Young and the Restless. Many people have stopped and said, "Why didn't you do an internship at Days of Our Lives, which was my favorite show on the planet?" And I said, well, because that's my show that I use to escape. And I didn't want to necessarily work at a show that's my escape. I didn't even apply. I applied to many shows, including Loving. But The Young and the Restless, I was able to do a phone interview, and I was able to get my internship through the interview, and of course of my application and everything, and then traveled out here and did this. But yes, so I met many good intern friends, including Scott and Lori, and so many others, Amy the intern. And so the show was about to celebrate its 20th anniversary. Back then, there was an air of excitement. And 3 of the interns, me and Amy, and I want to say, what was that guy's name? Wade? We went to the Bel Air Bay Club where they had the 20th anniversary party. Now, it wasn't the big 20. They had a really big one where they brought back former actors on the show. This was just for the current cast and crew that we went to. And we got to, sort of work at the party and greet people at the little table when they come in and give them this cute little Y&R pin, which I have somewhere around here. It looks like this. It has the Y&R logo. And I love that little pin, even though I don't wear pins around. But when we were giving one to Jerry Douglas and his wife reached for it, and Jerry Douglas, who played John Abbott, and he was like, "She doesn't want that junk." And I thought, how rude. There were so many personalities on that show. But anyway, if you want to catch a gander and see what's happening in Genoa City, do turn on CBS or Paramount Plus. And on Paramount Plus, they have all these little 3-minute segments where they would, in the extras or whatever, and they will have like one of the actors in each segment will tell you what their favorite memory of The Young and the Restless is, which is really neat to watch. And these were just some of my memories. I was telling Scott Smith the other night that I was going to tell some scandalous stories, but I won't do that because I'm trying not to put negative energy out in the world. So even if, say, some mean old coordinating producer said, "This intern can't even spell," because I misspelled a word on her phone message, which, to my defense, I thought that's how you spelled schedule. I always spelled schedule the British way. No, it's not the British way. With a SCHEDUEL, because I would always say schedule, but it's schedule. And yes, so I never misspelled that again. But that's really the only word that I misspell because I'm an excellent speller. I have a big blue dictionary that I use, and my mother always insisted that we be good spellers in our family. So, enough about me. What do you think about me? Um, Here's a cast picture from the past. Oh, Jeannie Cooper, such a grand lady. And most people were nice. Laura Lee Bell is a sweetheart. And others. Kate Linder as Esther, I always enjoyed. But I won't tell any stories out of school. I won't even say anything about Eric Braden saying, "You intern, don't be putting anything on my dressing room mirror." Okay. I wish them happy 50th anniversary. Here's to 50 more. Young and restless dreams, ripped at the seams, ripped at the seams. Your dreams are young, ah, and restless too. Poop farty bot. Okay, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.